miracle this time. That's when I. I said, God, you gotta move this mountain. I just don't see it any other way. I'm too weak to make the climb. I need a miracle this time. That's when I. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of Afternoon Drive Home on IC Radio in the town of Geraldine, Alabama, your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television locally right here in North Alabama, channel 182 on Charter Communications, and worldwide on Abundant TV, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Thank you again so much for watching. The rest of this week is going to be another fun bunch of shows. Coming up on Thursday, 1 p.m., we'll be talking with Rob Patz. He's the owner of Abundant TV, which is also found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Looking forward to seeing him. And Don Hunton, who is the pastor of the Lookout Mountain Cowboy Church. This is where Phil and I are going to church at. So really looking forward to seeing him as well. I'm hoping his awesome wife is going to be with him as well. So we'll just have to kind of wait and see on that. On Friday, we're going to have a show. I actually taped this one yesterday. And so we have a farm, and part of the show is about news, information, that kind of thing, local events and nationwide events, world events, that kind of thing. But we also have events here on the farm. And so we're going to be, I'll just kind of walk you around the farm and let you see a few things and some gardening tips and things like that. So that's going to be on Friday. On Wednesday, JL Music Man is going to be with us. I'm looking forward to seeing him. He has written a song, and it's about today and the times that we're living in. I think you're going to find it really interesting. It's an inspirational type song as well. So it kind of gives you the deep meaning of things going on with inspiration. So there's the good news around the corner too. Chuck and Mary Lynn Bailey with Alabama Fair Tax will be with us on 2 p.m. On tomorrow's show. Coming up 2 o'clock today, Philip Gilliland, who is with American Fellowship of Cowboy Churches, will be with us. Always looking forward to talking with Philip. And then at 1:30, we'll be talking with my favorite sports guy. His name is A.P. Stedham, and he's beginning a new talk show, sports talk show. And we're really interested in talking about that too. So he'll be giving us a bit more information about that as well. A little bit later on, just a few minutes after a couple of announcements, we're going to talk about the 7 types of rest that people need. Yeah, I'm really interested in this one. You'll think you're rested up and you'll think, well, I've had my 8 hours. Well, I don't know. You kind of, there's just different types of rest that we absolutely need. Wanted to mention the Women's Care Center. They are located in Fort Payne, across from the courthouse in Fort Payne. And if you are in need of baby diapers, or if you're in need of formula, anything that you could use some help on, they also have free classes. Pregnancy tests are available as well, referrals to approved agencies. They talk with you about post-abortion support. Earn While You Learn, this is pretty cool, is Earn While You Learn prenatal and parenting classes. They also have a clothes closet, and this is available for babies and toddlers up to 5 years old. So that's cool. Running out of clothes, you know how kids are. I used to really frequent the yard sales when Brad was growing, because he could grow 2 inches in a week. I mean, that boy grew fast. So there's some help out there for you. All the services are free. Educational material concerning abstinence, marriage, risk, and dangers of sexually transmitted diseases, risk, and procedures of abortion. Bible stories, and they have this really neat thing. It's called New Hearts of Joy. It's a 13-week forgiveness and healing course designed for women affected by abortion. And it's based on the best-selling book Forgiven and Set Free by Linda Cochran. And so I'm going to have to get these girls back on the show with us again. It's been a little while since I've talked with them, but we need to go ahead and get them on. And the telephone number, if you need some assistance, maybe you need some clothes for those babies. Oh, and also they will take donations as well. Now, car seats and stuff like that have to be within the period. It's been a long time since I've had a baby. My baby's like 43 years old. So yeah, it's been a long time. Back in that day, you just threw a car seat in the back car and you just went on. But now there are expiration dates to car seats. It's a wonder we all made it, isn't it?
So anyway, there are expiration dates. So if you're wanting to give away anything, make sure it has an expiration date that's proper. And let's say you have a supply of baby formula, got some extra. If you're going ahead and call the Women's Care Center, they'll be glad to take that for you. Now, I'm saying this, folks, all around the nation. There are awesome places like this all over the country. But right here in Fort Payne, Alabama, DeKalb County, Alabama, you can call 256-845-0838. And if you know of an organization like this and anywhere else in the United States, if you'll send information to me, I'll get that word out for you, okay? Because this is a passion of mine. And that telephone number is 256-659-4319. If it's easier to send an email, it's easy for me to go ahead and print it up. You can send an email to Donna at icradio.media. That's Donna at icradio.media. Okay, I promised you I was going to talk to you about you need to get rested up, girlfriends and boyfriends. You really do. So I'm going to talk with you about the 7 types of rest people need. Now, this is part of TED's program. I don't know if you know what TED's is, and How to Be a Better Human series. Now, you can Google that, or you can go to DuckDuckGo, whatever you use, and you'll be able to find this information. And it's How to Be a Better Human series, each which contains a piece of helpful advice from people in the TED community. So you can browse through all the posts that they have out there as well. But have you ever tried to fix an ongoing lack of energy by getting more sleep, only to do so and still feel exhausted? I have. I mean, we've all got busy lives right now. If that's you, then here's the secret, okay? I'm going to really get you rested up. Sleep and rest are not the same thing. I never knew that until I read this article. Although many of us incorrectly confuse the two. Yes, we do that. We go through life thinking we've rested because we've gotten enough sleep. Supposed to get about 8 hours. I can get by with 6. Phil can get by with like none. He doesn't. I don't know how he stays alive. But some people just need more sleep than others, and apparently rest. But in reality, we're missing out on the other types of rest we desperately need. The result is a culture of high achieving, high pressuring, high producing, chronically tired and chronically burned out individuals. That is true. We're suffering from a rest deficit because we don't understand the true power of rest. I know my first management job, and this was this huge cosmetic company. And so my boss, Kathy Bennett, she was watching me just run. It was like the first real management job I ever had. And I want to say it was a good company. And I really enjoyed working with this lady. And so she called me in one time, and I'm thinking, because I was young, I was like 25 years old. And I'm thinking, I'm in trouble. I'm about to get fired. What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? So she calls me, and I'm to meet her at the Holiday Inn in Oxford, Alabama. And sometimes she would call you to meet her in Birmingham at the Holiday Inn. So her favorite place was Holiday Inn back then because it was cost effective. She was just a really, really good boss. And so she said, I need to talk to you. Sit down. So I'm sitting down and I'm thinking, what did I do? I can't think of, because I'm working like circles around everybody else. So I'm trying to think, what did I do? Did somebody tell something on me that's not true? I mean, what happened? So she said, you are entering burnout. And I said, I'm getting sleep. She said, how much sleep are you getting? And I said, I'm probably getting 6 to 8 hours of sleep a night. She said, but you're not resting. And I said, well, I'm sleeping like 6 to 8 hours a night. And she said, stuff's going on in your life, I can tell. And she said, I think what you're trying to do is overwork yourself to get over it all, to put your mind somewhere else. And she said, I don't want to see you burn out. You're doing too good a job. Well, that made me feel better. But she said, I'm doing too good a job. And so she said, what I want you to do, she said, you're overdoing everything. I had this huge district. It was huge. It was most of Alabama, and then parts of Tennessee. I mean, I traveled a lot. Part of Mississippi and part of Georgia, just on the outskirts of some of those states. And she said, what I want you to do, she said, I want you to take a day off through the week. And I'm like, there's no way I can take a day off. And she said, yes, there is a way. She said, you're not working smart. And I said, well, how can I take it? I've got like the biggest district in this whole company. How can I possibly take any time off? She said, this is what you're going to do. She said, you're going to get the state. I'm going to give you a map of your district. And she said, I'm going to make a plus sign there. You're going to have north, south, west, and east. On Mondays, you're going to work the first district, north, east. And then she just gave me, the different areas. I'm going to work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And Friday, I want you to take off, and that's going to be your day of rest. And it's also going to be the day that you're getting organized for the next week. And it worked. What I was doing is like when someone in my district needed help, I felt like I would be like north and all the way into like parts of Georgia in the same day. It's not working smart. And I said, well, I just want to make sure everybody's taken care of. I want to make sure they're producing, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. And she said, they can't produce if you burn yourself out. She said, because you're not going to be there. She said, you're not working smart. Man, I have taken that advice everywhere I've ever been. I need to get a little bit more into it right now. I kind of like got lost on the side. You know what I mean? But anyway, I'm going to get right back into that again. That is a smart way to work. Okay, now the first type of rest we need is physical rest, and which can be passive or active. Now let's talk about that. What's the difference between passive and active? Okay, passive physical rest includes sleeping and napping. I never nap. I can't imagine that, but we're going to talk about it, okay? While active physical rest means you're restoring your activities such as yoga, stretching, stuff like that, and massage therapy that can help improve the body's circulation and flexibility. I like stretching exercises. And when you think about stretching exercises, you're thinking, well, that's not like jogging. I mean, that's not like, getting on a bicycle and just really going at it. But actually it is. You can get just as much of a workout out of stretching as you can jogging up and down the road. And I don't like jogging. Too many of my friends have had knee problems from jogging. If it's for you, go for it. I'm just saying it's not my thing. So, but I do like stretching. And you will find when you're just like a cat, when a cat wakes up in the morning and it yawns and it stretches, that's what we need to be doing. Okay. And like I'm in my 60s now. So I'm not into the strenuous exercises that I used to do a long time ago. By the way, that only aided in my being like worn out. And now walking, I like walking. If you walk with weights, that's good. But don't be outside when it's like extremely hot outside. Make sure you bring plenty of water, that kind of thing. But those stretching exercises, just simply, like touching your toes, something like that. And those are just really good exercises. But you'll find you're more rested when you do that as well. Now, some people argue the fact, well, I'd rather do it in the morning. And some people argue the fact, no, I'd rather do it in the evening. And whatever works for you. I mean, it's like everything else. You're very unique. So, just find out what works for you. The second type of rest is mental rest. That's what I need. I mean, you can have a whole lot of stuff happening in your life, and you got this you got to do, you got that you got to do, you got a family member that's sick, you got this and you got that. You're just like all over the place. So this is what I want to talk to you about, and that's mental rest. Did you know that coworker who starts work every day with a huge cup of coffee? That's me. Yeah, I do that. I'm probably about to get preached to here. Okay, he's often irritable and forgetful, and he has a difficult time concentrating on his work. Now, when he lies down at night to sleep, he frequently struggles to turn off his brain. His conversations for the day fill his thoughts, and despite sleeping 7 to 8 hours, he wakes up feeling as if he never went to bed. He has mental rest deficit. Okay, let's talk about that. The good news is you don't have to quit your job or go on vacation to fix this. Okay, schedule short breaks to occur every 2 hours throughout the workday. These breaks can remind you to slow down. You might want to also keep a notepad by the bed to jot down any nagging thoughts that would keep you awake. I used to do that. I need to get back into doing that again. And I would come up with business ideas. And I would be sitting there and I would be like, man, I can't wait until tomorrow so I can go ahead and implement this and get this started, blah, 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 blah. And man, then I started writing those things down on a notepad. Works. Okay, so that's something else I'm going to make sure I do again. The third type of rest we need is sensory rest. Okay, bright lights, computer screens, Background noise and multiple conversations, whether they're in an office or on Zoom calls, can cause our senses to become overwhelmed. Yeah, we got all kinds of stuff. This can be countered by doing something as simple as closing your eyes for a minute in the middle of the day. That's hard to do, but we're going to have to learn to do that. Okay. I'm going to, let's just fess up all this kind of stuff and let's just go on this journey together and we're going to start doing some of this stuff. Okay. And you and I are going to feel better. So let's do that. Okay, let's see. As well as intentionally unplugging from electronics at the end of every day. Okay, intentional moments of sensory can begin, and you got to deprive yourself of this stuff, okay? I know it's tough. I know we're in this world. Like my son and daughter-in-law live in Raleigh, North Carolina. I think I've got to have the phone on by my bedside and with me 24/7, because you're always thinking, what if something happens? Well, what if it doesn't happen? You've ruined your life by keeping the electronics by you at all times. I'm talking to myself, okay? All right, intentional moments of sensory depriving yourself can begin to undo damage inflicted by the overstimulating world. Now, I'm going to add this in here too for people who watch the news all the time. Okay, it doesn't matter whether you're a liberal or a conservative. If you keep it on 24/7, you're going to get irritated. Okay, I quit, and I'm in the business. So I quit doing that because I found it was making me ill and cranky. I didn't like that Donna. So I went on ahead and hung that up. I still know what's going on in the world. Okay, I don't go after anybody that's like on either end. Okay, I want a balance, and I want a balance of stuff that's happening. The fourth type of rest is creative resting. This type of rest is especially important for anyone who must solve problems or brainstorm new ideas. This is mine right here. I'm going to take this one. Creative rest reawakens the awe and wonder inside of each of us. And you can recall the first time you saw the Grand Canyon, the ocean, or a waterfall. Allowing yourself to take the beauty of the outdoors, even if it's at a local park or in your own backyard, provides you with creative rest. I'm going to tell you, it does. I love the farm. We bought my grandparents' farm. I bought my inheritance. But anyway, we bought the farm, and it's on 38 acres of land. And it's just so cool. Sometimes Phil and I just take a walk. Like one day, so we have honeybees. And I'm gonna tell you what, it's been awesome to have these bees. I encourage anyone, if you're thinking about beekeeping, go for it. And it's all in the way, it's all in your mind. A lot of people are freaked they're going to get stung and all this, and this, just don't act afraid of them. Treat them like you do other pets, okay? Because they have turned into our pets. And so one day I said, I wonder if there are bees anywhere, like in a tree, anywhere on this 38 acres of land. And Phil said, let's just go see. So we just took a walk. We took Buddy, our dog, with us. And so we just went and just started looking up in trees and stuff. And even though we were walking over the 38 acres, I got rested up, and so did he. And it's just fun just to do that. There's got to be a park near you somewhere. I remember in Charlotte, North Carolina, there were just parks everywhere. I mean, there was one like 2 or 3 miles. I think it was less than 2 miles from our house. And you could just go out there and go to the park and go for a walk. We did that several times. But anywhere near you has to be a park. I know even in New York, my goodness, you got Central Park and you can go walking. But it's just beauty of outside. That helps me. I know I'm really cranky when the winter time is upon us and there's no green outside. And so that's one reason Phil bought me a greenhouse. He said, you got to be near some green. And I encourage you, Donna needs to go into the greenhouse. And I said, you got it right. So that was a good rescue for me, to go near the greenhouse and just have some fun. And I say I need to hurry. But creative rest isn't simply about appreciating nature. It also includes enjoying the arts. Turn your workspace into a place of inspiration by displaying images of places you love and works of arts that speak to you. That's why I like to make artsy jewelry. Do I have any on? Yeah, like that. See, that's just artsy jewelry. And I promise you, it's one of a kind. Nobody else has this. So I just like to work with metal and with silver and arts and stuff like that. And you can find a rock and make a piece of jewelry out of it. You know, you can do that. Yeah, wire wrapping is one of the things I love doing. Just wire wrapping jewelry. It's just a good thing to do. And it's looking at a beautiful God-created rock. Yeah, it's really awesome. You can get a rock tumbler also if you'd like to do that. Get a rock tumbler and just find some rocks outside, something you think is really pretty and kind of flat as much as possible on the back of the rock, and just go digging. That's what I used to always do. My granddad used to say, you're going to be an archaeologist and go to Egypt if that's what you want to do, because I just love digging. I love digging up rocks. And so there's just something pretty about them. I don't know what it is. Art, we talked about that. You can't spend 40 hours a week staring at blank or jumbled surroundings and expect to feel passionate about anything. No, you can't. Much less come up with innovative ideas. Some people get these screens on their computer and it'll show like an aquarium or something. If you can't get outside, get something like that. You can get lots of free downloads. You can even get stuff on your cell phone to download it where it look like the ocean or water or something like that. Now, it's better in person, but if you can't get out there, at least get something like that. Now, let's take a look at another individual, the friend whom everyone thinks is the nicest person they've ever met. It's the person that everybody depends on, the one you'd call if you needed a favor, because even if they don't want to do it, you know they're going to give you a reluctant yes. Rather than the truthful no. But when this person is alone, they feel unappreciated and like others are taking advantage of them. This person requires emotional rest, which means having the time and space to freely express your feelings and cut back on people pleasing. Okay, a lot of us women have that problem. Emotional rest also requires the courage to be authentic. An emotionally rested person can answer the question, how are you today, with the truthful, I'm not okay. And then go on to share some hard things that otherwise go unsaid. Now, if you're in need of emotional rest, you probably have a social rest deficit too. This occurs when we fail to differentiate between those relationships that revive us from those relationships that exhaust us. There are some that's just, you just need to let it go. I've had to do that lately. To experience more social rest, surround yourself with positive and supportive people. Even if your interactions have to occur virtually, you can choose to engage more fully in them by turning on your camera and focusing on who you're speaking to. Be careful of users, people who just use you to try to get ahead in life. I've had to let one go because of that. And it seemed like this person was doing all of the, I was doing all the giving. This person was doing no giving at all, which I was okay with that for a while. But then I got to thinking about that, they don't encourage me. I'm doing all the encouraging. And it seemed like they were supporting other people who are in the same business that I am instead of me. So, I mean, you've got to really think about you. I know what the Bible says. You need to think of others and that kind of thing. And you do. But you've also got to think a little bit about yourself. There's got to be a balance in there. Okay. You got to take good care of yourself so you can take care of your kids. Yeah, I learned that the hard way. You got to take care of you too. So you're in the equation in there. Okay. The final type of rest is spiritual rest, which is the ability to connect beyond the physical and mental and feel a deep sense of belonging, love, acceptance, and purpose. To achieve this, engage in something greater than yourself and add a prayer, meditation, or community involvement to your daily routine. I'll have to, we go to the Cowboy Church, and I've never seen, there are awesome churches all over the place, but I don't know that I've ever seen a bunch of people who will just egg you on and encourage you more than these folks do. And we're going to be talking with one of them at 2:00. That's Philip Gillen. He's one of my best friends. As a matter of fact, I told Philip, of course, I told my Philip, my husband, and we decided we wanted to start our own radio station. And so Philip was, I think, the first other person other than my Phil that I told. And so he knew I needed to make a change. And so he was actually about to be on the show, and we were at the Cattle Stampede Steakhouse, and we were about to start the show. And I told Philip what I wanted to do, and he said, "All right, we're going to pray right now." So he got my hands and he prayed over the business, and it's been a success. So you got to have friends like that that got you back. They got you, and they really are concerned about you and what happens to you and what happens to you in your life, because those are friends who are going to be friends forever. My grandparents used to say, be wary of those fair weather friends. They're only going to be around during good times. They're not going to be there to encourage you when you've got decisions to make. And that's true. So hold on to those. Hold on to them with dear life. You've got to do that. As you can see, sleep alone can't restore us to the point we feel rested. So it's time for us to begin focusing on getting the right type of rest we need. So I promise you, I'm going to do this, and I want you to do that too, okay? Because I want to keep you around a really long time. I don't want you to get burned out and just the things of life. I don't want to see that happening to you. Okay, I'm going to have to get ready for a break in just a few seconds, but let me go ahead and mention a couple more things to you before we go into a commercial break. One of those is the Cattle Stampede Steakhouse. You know about them. They have that lunch special. It's only $4.99. And it's a good lunch special too. I told you 5 entrees, less than $5. So make sure you go to that, okay? And I'm just in love with chicken fingers. I always get chicken fingers. And I'm going to tell you what, they give you a side to go with that. And they go overboard with their side. I usually get the fries and Phil get the onion rings. And then that way, because they give you so many fries and so many onion rings, I'll give him some of my fries and he'll give me some of his onion rings. And it's just a real good thing. So if you're on your lunch hour and you just don't have a whole lot of time and the boss says, you got to hurry up, get back, we're shorthanded, hurry up, get your lunch. You can even butter him up or her up just a little bit by buying their lunch for them, less than $5, and say, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pick me and you both up some lunch today. You seem like you are hungry. And they'll think don't tell them how much you spent. But let them know you went to the Cattle Stampede Steakhouse. They're located in Scottsboro as well as in Fort Payne. Check them out. And then also, the thrift shop, which is located in Albertville on Highway 431. They are awesome. And I mean, these folks are so, I don't know, Shepherd's Cove Thrift Shop. I mean, first of all, donate. If you're cleaning out your closets, you're sick and tired of having a yard sale all the time, and you don't want to put this stuff in the house anymore. You're done with it. Call them. They'll come by and pick up all of your items for free. They'll bring that truck down there. Now, you got to set up an appointment to do that, okay? So think of Shepherd's Cove Thrift Shop anytime you want to go shopping. And we're going to have a couple of shows. I'm going to record some, and I'm going to be using some of the items that I found, and it's crafting, man. It's crafting 101, so you can do it. So what I'll do, I'll go ahead and get those ready for you. And I'll probably do one next week sometime. Okay, let's go ahead and cut into a commercial break. And because I'm going to have to get ready for AP Stedham. So y'all hang in there, okay? Commercial coming up like right now, I think. Yeah, right now. We'll be right back in a minute.
I said, God, you gotta move this mountain. I just don't see it any other way. I'm too weak to make the climb. I need a miracle this time. That's when I heard the voice from heaven say, don't tell me about that mountain, tell that mountain about me. Face your feet, shout my name, proclaim the victory. You said you raised, now take a stand, get up on your knees. You told me about that mountain, now tell the mountain about me. Introduce the problem to the answer, and you will see that problem step aside. There's no place for fear, the God of heaven is near.
Good afternoon. We are back. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of Afternoon Drive Home on IC in Christ Radio in the town of Geraldine, Alabama. Ever heard of Geraldine before? Geraldine, Alabama. Have you ever heard the song, I Love You More Today Than Yesterday, but Not As Much As Tomorrow? The song was by Pat Upton with a Spiral Staircase. And guess what? He's from Geraldine, Alabama. He was just such an awesome guy. I know we've had several events here in Geraldine and that he was part of, and he always wanted to get back to the community. So he is from this town. Absolutely. So we're in Northeast Alabama. You'll find us kind of halfway between all the big towns. If you're thinking about a business you would like to locate to a really good area and with hardworking individuals and with folks who love God and with folks who, I mean, we got some good school systems here too. I'm gonna tell you what. In Geraldine High School, you get yourself in trouble, your mama's gonna know about it before you get home. Then you're gonna get two pieces of trouble from the school and from your mama. That's the way we raise them here. So we're proud to be part of this town. Again, thank you so much for watching. You can also find us on local television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, and out of Gunnersville, Alabama, all over Northeast, and we're proud of that. Northeast Alabama. You can also find us on the internet. Yeah, go to IC Radio. That's I is in Christ Radio.media. And you'll find us that way. You can download the apps if you would like to listen to the awesome music we have all day long. We also have the top 20 requested songs, and that's how you can request the songs. Yeah, it'll be a few minutes now. So you're going ahead and get on the internet, icradio.media. Download the app if you want to, or just click on I want to hear somebody. And you'll be able to click on that. You'll type in the name of the person and the song that you would like to hear as well. So going ahead and do that. Let me go ahead and get AP ready. Let's see. There he goes. He's moving around. What is wrong with him? You can also, I think he's about to come in now. You can also find us on worldwide television. We just mentioned the local television station, which is cool, the channel 182 on Charter. But you can also find us on worldwide television. That's Abundant TV, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Isn't that awesome? And so we've got so many things we want to talk about. I've got AP with me, and he just slipped off. I bet he went to get some iced tea, sweet tea or something. Did you get some sweet tea? Can't hear you. Yeah, I'm asking you to unmute yourself.
There we go. Unmute. There we go. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, very good, very good. Yeah, I need some lemonade or some pink lemonade or sweet tea, something. I wish I had it.
Well, if you were just right over here in this room, I'd just hand it right over to you because we keep giving you sweet tea right here. And I'm so excited for you. And I promise I'm going to get back with you. I've not told you, we've kind of had a little excitement happening in the family. Mother fell down.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah, she's got two shiners. And she's embarrassed to get out. And so her birthday's going to be this Thursday. And I said, well, where are we going to go for your birthday? And she went, nowhere. So
oh my,
I kind of had my hands full with her, but I'm excited about your new show.
Yes, Don. Thank you. I guess I can mention it here. It's going to be called. Yeah, it's going to be called AP and Kelly as We See It, and we capitalize the S and the E and the C for Southeastern Conference. So we'll be discussing the Southeastern Conference football and hopefully some basketball if we move on down the road as well. But we'll also have an eye towards the national scene because we know, Donna, that invariably the SEC team plays in the semifinals against one of the other powers from around the country. So we have to keep an eye on those teams as well. But it'd be the Southeastern Conference driven and discussing Alabama, Auburn, and Tennessee, and Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and Georgia, and Florida, and LSU, and all the teams who make a difference in the league. We'll talk about the teams that are winning, the teams that are supposed to win and don't, and some of the teams that are supposed to lose but win. So all that unscripted drama, Donna.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun, and you're good at it. And this is what, now just kind of for all you folks who are just tuning in, and by the way, we're growing on Abundant TV, AP, just wanted to mention that to you. So I know we've had some folks from other states listening because they kind of fussed at you just a little bit. I don't know why you blaming AP for it. He has nothing to do with Saban. But anyway, you're telling Saban to stay away from California. But folks, and so, I mean, AP is really good at picking the winners. You're right most of the time.
We try to call it as we see it and keep it real. If somebody plays well, we can't wait to praise them. If they don't, we say we're looking for them to improve the next week. So, but
that's good advice. Because I started in television, I still take advice. Go ahead.
Good. I was going to say that just to get back to the show, Donna. So far, we're going to be on in 4 states. So we'll be in Alabama, we'll be in Tennessee, we'll be in Mississippi, we'll be in Florida. So we're really excited, and we can't wait to bring the show to your station so all your listeners can follow. And it's a 1-hour syndicated show that we'll tape on Wednesday evening because, Donna, as you know, on Wednesday, that's when the coaches have the teleconference from 10 to 12:20, 14 coaches, 10 minutes apiece. So I'll get to ask them questions so I can give some commentary, analysis, and preview of the upcoming games. That's why we decided to tape on Wednesday evening instead of, let's say, a Monday or Tuesday. And plus, we want to look ahead primarily. We'll recap a little bit if something is required for us to comment on that situation, but we're going to be looking ahead. But yeah, no, very excited. Thank you for letting me announce that.
Of course, because we're planning on getting you here. When you get here, you're going to be in all 50 states and actually abroad. There are people in England who listen to us, in Germany that I know of. And so Rob, who actually owns the station, said, do you know that you're really climbing in listenership? And I said, the first day was over 4,000. And I said, is that good? Or is that, I mean, what is that? And he said, that's good for your first day. And so we're excited about that. We're excited to getting you into this lineup with us. And
that's tremendous.
Absolutely. So what's going on in the world of sports?
Yeah, Donna, last week I was in New Orleans beginning on Monday, and I stayed there for the draft with the NBA New Orleans Pelicans. So that was Thursday evening. So they ended up selecting Dyson Daniels, a player from Australia, and then they took another player from Ohio State and one other. But we had a good time over there in New Orleans watching the NBA draft. And Alabama, well, I'm going to start with Auburn first because that's the big news in the NBA draft. They had an historical night. Now, Jabari Smith was a player selected overall by Oklahoma City. It was a chance that he might have been the first one. That would have been something new for the program. And then Walker Kessler was taken 22nd and traded to Minnesota immediately. So they had 2 players in the first round. That's historical for Auburn basketball, which is terrific. So glad to announce that those 2 players. I wish they were coming back because I enjoyed watching them so much. But I know Bruce Pearl was excited to be in New York with those 2 as they were drafted. And that speaks something for his program to recruit those types of players where they can be selected in the first round. Because, Don, there's only in basketball, Don, just 58 selections, 58 or 60 selections. This year was 58, I believe it was. So it's not like football where you have 7 rounds. It's just 2 rounds, Don. So you have to be very good to be selected. So that was a historical night for Auburn basketball. And I look for good things in the future as well. On the Alabama side, J.D. Davidson was taken 53rd, I think, by the Celtics. So he was a freshman guard, came out early from a small 1A school, I believe 1A school in Alabama. So he's going to the Celtics. He'll have to develop, get a little bit tighter with his ball handling and better shooting and play better defense as well. But Alabama had a pretty good night in the draft. The 2 schools, Auburn and Alabama. Of course, like I say, Auburn, that was historical for them.
Mm-hmm. I'm really excited about basketball with Auburn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they've done really well.
Yeah, no, Auburn and Alabama both, and that's why I like to see it, because I want to see both those teams do very well, because that brings the national attention, the games on national TV. So I'm so happy for both of them, Donna. But anyway, then Friday, Donna, I went west about 60 miles to Thibodaux, Louisiana at Nicholls State. And that was the Manning Passing Academy. So they had 1,200 campers. They had 43 primarily Division I quarterbacks. 12 of the 14 SEC schools were represented. So we got a chance to interview them. And then the Mannings were there. Cooper Manning, Archie Manning, Eli Manning, Peyton Manning. And then the big news the day before I arrived was Arch Manning, the son of Cooper, the grandson of Arch Manning. He committed to the University of Texas. So that was nationwide news. He'd been scholarships. He could have went anywhere in the country. I think it came down to Georgia, Alabama, and Texas was the winner.
So why do you think he chose Texas?
I think he liked the town of Austin. I think he liked
out there.
Yeah, I think he liked his chances with the coach, Steve Sarkisian. He's very good offensive mind, excellent offensive mind. And I think that's some of the reasons he chose the University of Texas. The University of Texas will be entering the SEC at some point. Maybe not next year, but maybe the year after if they buy out their contract with the Big 12. Mm-hmm. So he'll get a chance to play in the Big 12, maybe initially, and then the SEC. So he chose a school that wears the burnt orange, and it's UT, and Peyton played at UT, and that was the orange, volunteer orange. But anyhow, that was exciting for the Manning family. But Donna, I got a chance to interview the Penn State quarterback over there because they're playing Auburn on the 17th, coming down to the Plains. So that's a huge game for Auburn and Penn State nationally. It's going to be televised. I believe that game is the 2:30 game on CBS. I think that is. So that's exciting. So I visited with him, Sean Clifford, and he's preparing to come down here because Auburn has not been south to play a Southeastern Conference team during the season since Alabama, probably 2010 or 11. Mm-hmm. They had a 2-year contract, home and home contract. So that's a critical moment for Auburn. I think that third game in the season, if they could beat Penn State, that could launch them to having a really fine season. But as we know, Auburn's got to come up with their quarterback, manage that position. And then I had a chance to visit with Bryce Young of Alabama, Will Levis of Kentucky, the Tennessee quarterback Hendon Hooker of Tennessee, and also Spencer Rattler of South Carolina. He transferred down from Oklahoma. He was a top recruit coming out of Arizona. He started for the Sooners quite a bit, and then Caleb Williams came from Washington, D.C., and displaced him as the starter. So both of those quarterbacks down ended up transferring after Lincoln Riley became the coach at USC. So Spencer Rattler, he got a strong arm, and it'll be fun to watch him in the Southeastern Conference. He's with one of his former assistant coaches, Coach Beamer, who's now the head coach at South Carolina. He was an assistant at Oklahoma. So that should be interesting. And so they gave us 30 minutes down. So I tried to get as many quarterbacks as I could. I spoke to 5. And Donna, I also spoke to Ty Thompson. He's a big quarterback, 6'5", 230. He's going to be competing at Oregon with Bo Nix. From Auburn. So he knows Bo, and he said they're pretty friendly and trying to help each other. So you never can tell the connections or who you will meet when you travel to these events and these football camps. So they had a competition on Friday night where they're throwing the ball down. Imagine a golf cart with a box on it, and it's moving across the field right to left about 10 yards in front of the quarterbacks. They try to hit that box. Excuse me. Then there's one at the 20-yard mark going across right to left or left to right. And then there's one going down the sideline. So you're trying to throw that ball way down the field near the goal line. And so that was the competition. 5 quarterbacks ended up hitting all 3 and playing for the title of that competition. So that was on Friday evening at Nicholls State, 8:30 to 9:30. That was fun. So
what are you hearing out there? And what you can tell us, because I know you've got information, AP, that if you told us, you'd have to kill us. I know how it is. But what are some of the buzzwords you're hearing out there? Let's talk about Bo just for a few minutes.
Yeah.
And so how do you think he'll be doing, or will he be doing anything any differently than he was doing when he was at Auburn?
Well, he's probably hoping to have an offensive line that can protect him on a more consistent basis.
Yeah,
So
that's
he's
been
not
an issue.
right, because now he's a little bit gun shy down. Anytime he feels pressure, he's moving to the right. He's trying to escape. I mean, he's not staying in the pocket as long as he should to read the progressions of his receivers. So, and then I think Oregon probably try to run the ball, but I just think that in that league, there's not as good. The defense isn't as good, and there's not as many big people on the defensive line that can get to you. In the Southeastern Conference, that's the premier conference for defensive linemen. Every team has somebody that can get to the quarterback with authority every game. In the Pac-12, it's a lot of high scores, not as much defense. Maybe the defensive backs aren't as good. Not saying they're bad, just saying that overall the amount of cornerbacks taken from the SEC year in and year out is a higher number. So I think Bo, if his offensive line gives him enough time, he's going to have plenty of opportunities to throw the ball to receivers, to running backs, and put up a lot of points in a league not known for defense.
Mm-hmm. Well, do you feel like he puts pressure on himself more than other people put it on him?
I think, Donna, people who are trying to strive for greatness, I think that is without, I think that's something that they do very often. Mm-hmm. More than likely, I would say over 90% of those people trying to achieve greatness, they pressure themselves so much that you have to have somebody around you that says, just relax for a moment. You practice, you prepared, just exhale, and let's have some fun. Because all the hard work is out of the way. So, I think they need somebody around them to gauge their intensity and make sure that they're not putting so much pressure on themselves that you can't perform. They overanalyze, they're nerve, they're high strung. So just relax. Do something that relaxes you before the game, so you're ready. You have all the knowledge. You went over all the routes, and you have the rhythm with your receivers, and you understand. You have a grasp of the offenses, the defenses, and let's have some fun. Let's perform, and remember that's what we're doing. We're performing on a stage, but
it's all about balance. It's all about balance. And sometimes, I mean, and I would think he also feels pressure because of his family members. I mean, what their success was. And so he's got to, I mean, you got to remember all that, but he's kind of, there's a time and a place for everything. And, you know, so I feel like, I think he overthought it when he was at Auburn. I just feel like he did.
Right. And Donna, somebody in Bo Nix's position now, remember, he transferred. He's saying, look, for whatever reason, I have to leave Auburn. So I'm trying to establish myself with an entire new team, a new coaching staff, a new school, a new league. I'm in a new territory. So those are a lot of things to consider. But you have to do, you have to sit down and psychologically change your thought process a little bit and do some psychology on yourself to say, okay, this is going to be fun. It's a new opportunity. How many people would like to be in my position?
Oh, a lot of people would.
A lot of people would, right? So just have those good, positive thoughts that you've been playing football a very long time. You've studied, you've practiced, you've trained, and now with this team, let's go win some ball games.
If he doesn't make it, and I feel, I don't know how you feel about this, but I feel like it's a make it or break it situation with him. And it's going to be more of a psychological thing because he's got the talent. I think it's psychological.
Right. He has the talent, has to improve some on the accuracy and consistency, but that might come if his offensive line protects him and he stays in the pocket. And that coaching staff, they have to adapt to his talent and run plays that he has successfully completed passes in practice. I mean, that's the key to a coaching staff. You have to look every day you're charting his completions. Okay, what was the route? What was the pass pattern on that play? What was the scheme that we called where he was successful? We're going to call those in a game. I mean, that's all a function of coaching, the talent level that you're able to evaluate and analyze, and that's your responsibility as a coaching staff.
I think so too. AP, we have about 2 minutes left in this segment. What would you like to say before you leave?
Okay, Donna, you won't believe it. I went to another event on Sunday night, the Senior Bowl Hall of Fame, which is at the Grand Hotel in Point Clear, Alabama. So they inducted Kevin Falk from LSU, the running back, played for the Patriots, excellent ball player. I think he has 3 Super Bowls. Vaughn Miller, who just won the Super Bowl with the Rams. He won with Denver as well, from Texas A&M. Then they inducted Patrick Willis out of Ole Miss, played for the 49ers. Then you had Dak Prescott from Mississippi State. He's the quarterback of the Cowboys. Phillip Rivers, longtime quarterback of San Diego. I think it was 1 year with the Colts. He was inducted. And they gave the Rookie of the Year award to Creed Humphrey, who was the center for 3 excellent quarterbacks, Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts, and Spencer Rattler. So he played for 3 good quarterbacks at Oklahoma. He's with Kansas City now, Patrick Mahomes. So it was an outstanding event. The food was tremendous at the Grand Hotel. The Senior Bowl Hall of Fame induction of the great time was had by all. And I was lucky to be there. Cornelius Bennett of Alabama, E.J. Jr. of Alabama. I think Ronnie Brown was there, Lauburn. So we had a good group of people and had a lot of fun. And so I went to 3 different events last week.
Wow, you stay busy, dude. AP, it's great having you on the show. We've got to go ahead and go into a commercial break. I'm looking forward to talking with you about this new show, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again next Tuesday.
Oh, yeah. Look forward to it, Donna. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, folks, let's go ahead and cut into a commercial break. We're going to be back with Philip Gilliland. He is with the American Fellowship of Cowboy Churches. It's always so much fun to talk with him. So let's go ahead and take a quick break, and we shall return in just a few.
my name, proclaim the victory. Don't tell me about that mountain, tell that mountain about me. Face your feet, shout my name, proclaim the victory. You said your prayers, now take a stand, get up on your knees. You told me about that mountain, now tell that mountain about
Good afternoon. We are back. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of Afternoon Drive Home on IC Radio in the town of Geraldine, Alabama. Thank you so much for listening to us every day, Monday through Friday, from 1 to 3 p.m. Central, as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. Just got a email from Diamond and Silk, and they are going to be on the show with us on Friday, July the 8th. So we're really excited about having them on the show with us. Don't know how much time we're going to get from them. It's going to be utilizing the Facebook Live and also utilizing Zoom. So we're really excited about talking with them. Anyway, we can get them. You know, they always say, Donna, we're busy, we're traveling a lot, we're doing this, we're doing that. And they usually say something like, you know, Phil's letting me know that my sound is good. So, you know, y'all always let me know if something's not exactly right. You can send a text to me like live, 256-659-4319. But anyway, we're going to have Diamond and Silk with us. We're all excited about that. I also have some more information for you. You like saving money? You like quality products? You like really good stuff? You like to be able to rest? You know, we talked a little bit earlier on the show today about getting the right kind of rest. You can with MyPillow. Go to mypillow.com and use the code word Donna, and let me explain to you what you're going to get. You know, the slippers, and I've told you we've got the moccasins. Now you can get either slippers or the moccasins. It's up to you. The moccasins are really neat because you can wear them to town if you want to. You can wear them to church if you wanted to. I mean, they're dressy up enough, and so, but they can also be worn as house shoes. That's what's really cool about these shoes. $90 is what you're going to save. If you use the code Donna, D-O-N-N-A, you'll get these slippers for only $49.98. I'm not talking about each shoe. I'm talking about for a pair of shoes. So that's a good deal. You're saving $90. Go ahead and take advantage of that. Also, the MyPillow bathrobes, save 30% on those. I don't have one of those yet, but I'm going to get one. Also, the 6-piece MyPillow towel set. Now, you get 2 of the big towels or big fluffy towels, and they're very absorbing as well. Have you ever bought towels before where, you know, you're out of the shower and you're trying to dry off and they don't even absorb the moisture? These are great absorbing towels. So you get 2 big ones. You get also 2 of the hand towels and 2 of the bath cloths. And I wanted to mention to you, they have those in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different colors. And they're all the popular colors. And I've got some in these really pretty, almost like an aqua looking color, and they're beautiful. They match my new bathroom. And then you get a royal looking blue color, and they have 2 different colors of gray. They've got a lighter gray, and then they have a darker gray. And then there's this burgundy, real pretty burgundy color. You get white. And then they also have this really pretty green color. I love green. The only thing is I can't wear green because I got a green screen behind me. So that's history. We've talked about that before. But anyway, they're buy one, get one free. So that's a good deal. You're going to get 2 sets of towels. You're going to get 12 towels for $89.98. You got to use my name now, Donna, D-O-N-N-A. Let me go ahead and get back because there's something else I wanted to tell you about too with MyPillow. The MyPillows are also buy one, get one free. And these pillows are awesome. I mean, we've been using these pillows for years. And I've told you guys too about, you just throw it in the washing machine and then throw it in the dryer. It's just like it's a brand new towel. And because before, when I've had pillows, I didn't want to put them in the washing machine. And what I would do is put them outside on top of the car, hope a bird didn't, you know what, on top of it, or on the deck or something, because sun can also clean, you know, the sunshine outside. But you had that risk, okay, of a bird flying over. But this way, you just throw them in the washer, throw them in the dryer, and I'm done. They also have the MyPillow topper. I've got that MyPillow topper. And, you're safe. Oh, they're going to throw in some sheets in there. Okay, that pillow is the pillow and the topper that goes on top of your bed. That is 3 inches of luxury. I mean, it is really awesome. So anyway, just wanted to mention that to you. And these are super, super good deals right here. They've got this adjustable base. I've not tried that out. You save 30% off on that. It's almost like a hospital bed. I've always loved hospital beds. Like my grandparents just maybe would be in the hospital. I'd get in the bed with them when I was a little kid. And I liked it because I'd say, move the bed up and down. They'd move the bed up and down. But well, they have this bed frame that's like that. Let's go ahead and check on it. So that would be neat to have, like if company is coming over. Let me check that out. Because most of our company is from out of state or whatever. But you save 30%. And yeah, I mean, it's as cheap as a bed. You can put the topper and all that stuff on it. So with the promo code, it's regular $2,000. With the promo code, you get it for $1,399. And so good deal there. Then you can get the twin, full, queen, king, California king. That must be some super big bed. And then the split king. Probably they'd get the California king bed for Phil, because my husband Phil is like really tall. I think his brothers and people used to call him long distance back in the day. Okay, we're waiting. Something must have happened. Okay, here we go. All right, Philip is coming in right now, so I'm really excited. I bet you're afraid I'm going to tell you another one of those stories. You're being rescued right now. Here's Philip Gilliland.
Hello.
Hey, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm good. I was almost late.
Yeah, well, you made it just in plenty of time. We were talking about my Phil. They're running some really good specials right now.
Yeah, good.
Those shoes that you've probably seen Phil wear, I don't think he's got them on now, but there's some slippers and there's like $80 off.
Oh, yeah.
For these. You got to use the promo code Donna, Donna, to be able to get those at that good price. Philip Gilliland is one of my best friends. And I tell him he knows the guts on me. I'm telling you, it's scary. But I tell him
it cuts both ways.
Absolutely. But Philip, and I was mentioning this earlier on the show, and so you're the second person I told who wanted to start my own radio station. And I remember I'll never forget it. We were in Scottsboro at the Cattle Stampede Steakhouse.
I remember.
And so you said, we're going to pray right now. And we did.
That's right.
Absolutely. So how you been doing?
Oh, good. Just busy.
There's some water for you there.
Oh, great. No, I got a little behind this morning, and we had a lot of stuff going on. I spent too much time on the bush hog. I was supposed to have been at the church because they were hooking the internet up in the new building. So I was late getting there. I lost myself, and I'm out on the bush hog, and it was cool this morning.
I know, wasn't it awesome? Because we were working
nice.
out, and I was afraid I was going to be late. I was like, but I wanted to stay out one more minute.
Well,
and it was perfect time today.
So, I do all the rough stuff, and I leave the big open spot for the boys. And I'm thinking, and I was just having the best time, and I was just taking therapy right there, and I looked at my watch and I said, oh my goodness. So then I take off to the church, and then that took a little bit longer. So yada, 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 I'm here.
He made it plenty of time. He's here.
Yeah.
We were just talking about that in the first hour about rest. Even though some people get 8 hours of sleep, they're not really rested.
That's true.
So we were talking about that. One way to get really rested up is to do things you like to do outside.
Yes.
That will do it.
Oh, it's the best therapy. It's like I said, that's what I was doing, taking therapy.
I've needed a lot of therapy. Can you tell with all the plants?
Well, I saw the tomatoes that are.
My goodness.
Yeah, they look pretty good to me.
Yeah, don't they? I'm going to have concrete blocks for garden from this point on.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen? You got to look at one of the videos from yesterday. I planted marigold seeds. My friend Deja Lee gave me a bunch of seeds. And one seed it's just huge. I've got roots that are this tall just from being, I've never had roots on marigolds. And all the plants, everything is just growing rapid.
Good. Yeah, we've had some good weather. Did y'all get rain yesterday? We didn't either.
We've had to do our own rain.
Well, I see the pepper plant. Is that banana pepper?
No, it looks like it, but that's actually my favorite flower, and that's the tiger lily.
Oh yeah, that's just about to bloom.
But it doesn't, because I looked up earlier and I thought, I don't remember planting peppers there. It's what it looks like right outside the window.
It does.
In the studio A.
We could use some heavenly rain right
That
now.
would be nice. It's better than
we
a
need some.
hose back.
Yes,
it's
it is. It
it's
just works better. Somebody told me that the chlorine really wasn't good for the plants, but it's better than them
It's
not
better.
having water. So,
Well, that's why you're seeing these. I've got like, it looks like a junkyard around here because I've got big pots and stuff all over the place, and I catch rainwater when it rains.
yeah,
And that's how I'd rather feed my plants.
sure, because it doesn't have any chlorine.
Nothing in it. But the bees love chlorine.
Oh, they do.
Oh,
Yeah.
They're all in it. You're going to take out, you're going to rob bees with me?
Oh, it's been a while, but I don't think I've forgotten how.
I'm going to do a video on that. We're going to do this on Saturday. You may see me yelling in the video,
Yeah.
but probably not. These things are just like a Disney cartoon. They just follow you around the yard and
Oh, yeah.
it's freaking mother out.
Yeah.
Yeah, mother said, you don't need to be around those bees like that.
She's afraid they'll turn on you.
And I said, well, they're okay now, but when I take their food away from them, they may not like me.
That's
no
right.
more.
That's
so,
right.
I mean, I'd be the same way. You take my food away from me, I'm
Yeah.
gonna get mad too.
Well, you've got to smoke them, to
Uh-huh.
put them in that semi-dormant state. And
they'll be in somewhat of a trance.
yes. And it works. It works
Mhm.
on. I still have it. I have my dad's in my office. It's been there as long as I've lived there. I moved it when I moved from Albertville to Grant, and it sits up on the shelf. And
Mhm.
because sometimes you think, well, boy, this is hard work, but I think about some of those days. Like I said, we had 30. It was either 31 or 32 hives, and when we robbed the bees, it was a day's work,
Mhm.
man.
Well, I'm ambitious. I'm gonna build that to 10 of them by next year.
Oh yeah, and it's good for you. It's healthy, and
It's the best honey you can get.
oh, it is. It is. It is.
I'm gonna tell you, you had dedication at your church,
Yes,
and that was an awesome service.
it was. It was really nice. It was. We had a lot of friends showed up, and it was great. I enjoyed it, and it was special. It was real special.
Yeah, it was the singing. I mean, just everything was just really good. You have some testimonials.
Yes, I know it. It's a good time in our church. Although all our kids are at camp right now, they will be back on Thursday. So the second group left on Sunday morning really early. I carried my boys. My wife's been gone a week and a day. She's been gone. She left.
Counting the seconds.
Yeah, and I'm about to starve to death for something good to eat. My cooking it's not any
It's not
good.
like Elizabeth.
No, it's terrible. So, but they're having the time of their life, and they'll come back, and we'll be starting this Sunday doing one service through the month of July to see how that works, and then we'll make a decision afterward whether we're going to continue to do one service or two, because this is the first time in a long time that we've had space to have everybody in one building. So
Well, there was a crowd there during the dedication.
oh, it was 200. I've had 2 or 3 people tell me they were 210 or 211, somewhere in that range of people there, and it was great because we did have a good time, and it was a blessing. I appreciate you coming, you and Phil coming. It was great.
We were going to be there.
We love our cowboy churches, and our cowboy church family is pretty broad reaching. And we'll have a thing for them on the last weekend of the month. We have our Renew conference at No Fences Cowboy Church over near Falkville, Alabama. And on Friday night, we'll have all the pastors and wives. And then on Saturday, we'll have all the church leadership come in and join us on that Saturday. So we're pretty excited about that. It's a big thing for us. And they have a beautiful church over there. They built it several years ago, but it is really a nice church, and it has room that we can put everybody in there. So we're looking forward to that. We have a lot of things going on as always, and it's a good time for our churches. They're all going to get a bunch of young people back this Sunday that's going to be really revived up. And
Oh, I've been seeing some videos.
Oh,
I'm gonna tell you what, they're just really.
It's one of our greatest outreaches, and one of the biggest expenditures we have is what we do for our camps. Now, those camps take place in Texas and Oklahoma and Alabama. And we have some people that really put a lot of work into it, and it's unbelievable what they accomplish. And we've had several salvations already, and maybe more. I'm going down tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow afternoon is the last night. They'll have the worship tomorrow afternoon. Then they'll have the kids rodeo, the ones that made the finals. They'll have that tomorrow night. So I haven't heard if mine's in it or not, but they might be. And it doesn't matter. They're all my kids, all our church kids. And we are so blessed to have a lot of kids. And
you are, because a lot of churches don't. I mean,
yes.
You got like little kids, teenagers. I mean, and they're also happy to be there.
Oh yeah, they are, and they give me a go, boy. I mean, they're inspiring to me to see what they do, and of course that youngest one of mine goes with me a lot of places, and he and I made a trip last week, and I guess I'll make a trip without him. I've got to be somewhere else this Sunday, but it's going to be unusual him not being with me, because he wants to go to our church. You would think, well, he goes with you everywhere. He'll sure go with. No, he wants to be in our church on Sunday, and that's a good thing.
You're going to be in our church. We go to the Lookout Mountain Church.
Yeah,
and that is so beautiful out in there. And I told Phil the first time we drove up, it was just beautiful. And I love open pasture land, horses and cows and all that stuff. And I told Phil, I said, it's going to be tough on me to like listen to the preacher. I'm going to be looking outside. Yeah. But he keeps your attention. You won't be looking.
He's a good preacher.
He's going to be on the show on Thursday.
Oh, good. But I think he's been down there. I'm not sure how much. He may have been there all this week. I hadn't talked to him, but he's him and Miss Judy are awesome people.
No, I love Judy.
Oh, they're some of the best. Mm-hmm. But we're having a great summer and a great run, and trying to help some churches and start some new churches. We've got some good things going on, so we're pretty excited about it. I think I'll be making a trip to Texas next month. Well, not July. I mean, I've got to go in August, so it's not quite July, but it's about to be
here before you.
Yeah, it's about to be July. I'm thinking about the first week of August, but a lot of good things going on, and it's pretty exciting for us to see what the Lord's doing in our churches, and
churches are just popping up all over the place.
Yes, and we're getting calls from a lot of places where people are interested, and it takes a fair amount of work to get, but we have a team that we do everything by team. So we have a team that put together a layout for a timeline for a new church start, and it talks about what you have to do with your tax situation, your tax ID numbers. It gives you all this information that you, instead of having to call everybody, you can look at this timeline. It kind of gives you, and in our case, you need to talk to our Secretary of State, who can help you with some of that, because and we've had a super good relationship with John, and
he's a good guy. He was on the show last Monday.
Yes, he's our dear friend. I mean, so we'll be working with somebody new next year, but we look forward to it being good as well. He's got somebody set the bar pretty high.
He most certainly did. I'd hate to be the person coming in behind him. Yeah, you got some big shoes to fill.
That's right. So it's a good time. It's a good time for us, and things begin to happen before school goes back. We have a lot of churches doing VBSs, and we have Pee Wee camp coming up at Crossover. That is like, I think like the 12th of July. And for the little ones that's not old enough to go to camp, we do this thing. The Trading Post and Crossover does it together every year, and we do that for them. And that's my favorite one, I guess, because those little fellas are so much fun, and everybody works really hard to make it special. This is the first year we've done it without Miss Dawn Wheeler. Miss Dawn went home to be with the Lord. She passed away from complications due to COVID. So it's going to be different, because she was the lifeblood of Pee Wee camp. So this year we're gonna go and carry on and try to make it good, not only for her, but most importantly to honor the Lord and teach these young people some things about the Bible and the most fundamental things that you get when you're in that little age group that's not quite old enough to go to camp.
But they're excited,
Oh,
very excited.
They love it, because and the reason why Miss Dawn started doing that was because there were some little ones getting left out. So she took it on herself several years ago to start that. And I think it's awesome that we're going to be carrying that on, and we're going to continue to do something that I think is real important, and that's invest in our young people and our children.
Let's talk about the core of the Cowboy Church, because you're listening. You got thousands of listeners to you right now.
Yeah.
We're on Abundant TV,
Yes.
Which is worldwide, and we're also found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. So first day out of the gate, the guy who owns the station said, "Well, guess how many listeners you had?" And I said, "I don't know." And I said, "How many?" He said, "Over 4,000.
Oh my goodness.
And I said,
good.
"Is that good?" And he said, "That's grand."
Yeah,
He said, "It's
I
very
think
good."
so.
And he tells me it keeps climbing. So you're talking to a lot of folks for the very first time right now. What is the Cowboy Church? How is it different from other churches?
Well, you know, we don't have barriers. We try to do things that we say we're the church for people that don't like churches. We call it a cowboy church because at the core of what we are is the Western culture. But there's a lot of people, and you're a perfect example. You know that people, not everybody that comes to cowboy church is a cowboy. Not everybody that comes even has a horse or a cow, but people can identify with the simplicity of doing church simple.
Simple.
And I think that's where we get a lot of guys that are deer hunters or bass fishermen, or some of them are not connected.
Space and Rocket Center.
What I started to say, you know, the guy that helped launch his last rocket, the engineer, he leads one of our teams at church, and man, he's really one of the greatest guys I know. And that's Greg Lawson, serves as an elder in our church, and he's really a smart guy. But he loves what we do. He loves that. You know, he's kind of the farm guy. He's a hobby farmer, I guess, and I hope I'm not offending him, but I believe he likes to be called a farmer because he loves that stuff. That is his, favorite pastime. What my back doctor, who is Dr. Roberts over in Huntsville, he has a farm. You know, my orthopedic surgeon guy, he has a cattle farm, and a lot of people, not everybody that is a professional person plays golf. A lot of them like to do things
outside. It's the best therapy.
Yes. So, and we attract some of those people, and thank the Lord for them. They help us with some things that.
Mike Parsons is one of them.
He is.
And now he was in the military, and he's had so many different careers. And so also he's a school teacher. He's just done all kinds of things, and he just turned on. I mean, he just, he loved it.
Oh, he is. And he is the guy that we ask about our church security things from, because he is so knowledgeable about it. He is part of a big church that and he leads that group in church security. And who would have ever thought when we were kids we'd be having to be concerned about? But today it's the day and age we live in, and so it is. It's what we do today. So he is one of the best examples of a guy that will help you. You know, it doesn't matter if you. It could be any church anywhere. If you call Mike Parsons and ask him, "Can you help me?" He will help.
He's tickled to do it.
Yes, he is glad to do it.
That's his forte. I mean, he really knows his stuff, and that's the person you want to ask advice from. Now, you guys have a different way. Also, people can tithe still.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But it's not, you know, because there was a time I was divorced, and I may have put in a couple of quarters, and I didn't want it to sound like really loud hitting the bottom of that plate. But it's a very discreet way you can do so.
We have a little barn in the back of the church. We don't pass an offering plate because we realize there might be somebody there that might feel out of place because they didn't have something to put in it. And for that reason, we put a little barn in the back, and if you can put something in it, and I never know who puts what in it. Nobody ever looks to see who's putting money in it or not. And we have an outside person at the end of the year that keeps up with who gave what, and it doesn't even go through the church. They mail that their receipt back for tax purposes directly to the individual.
I like that.
And so that way, what anybody gives is between them and this person that's not part of our church. In fact, this lady who is really great, and it doesn't cost much, she does that for 6 or 7 churches, and that's what she does. So it's a blessing to take the barriers away that keep people from coming to church. You might not think that would be a barrier, but if you are the person that doesn't have anything to put in, it could be a barrier. So, that's one of the things we do. And we do things by teams, and we don't vote on hardly anything. We voted, of course, when we decided to build the building, because that was a major expenditure. But just normal things we do by consensus rather than vote, because the more you vote, the more you have an opportunity to divide. So the people that started this organization years ago, who came from a background in traditional church and had a lot of experience, they said, we need to do something about that. And so that we do things by consensus. And
I've seen people get into fights before based on carpet color. Who cares?
Yes.
And every church I've ever been to, they'll say, Donna, what do you want? And I go, I'm cool with anything. I don't care. I mean, pink polka dot's fine with me. Whatever. We're going to have to go into a commercial break, Philip. Y'all hang in there. It's already bottom of the hour.
Well, and I wasn't that late.
No, you weren't. You were. So let's go ahead and get into a break. We'll be right back in just a few minutes. I sure do appreciate you guys listening to us. Absolutely, I do. We'll be right back.
And I had time for a lunch. And
Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of Afternoon Drive Home on IC Radio in the town of Geraldine, Alabama. Big town.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of folks have been saying, where in the world is Geraldine, Alabama? Well, there was a music group here in the Spiral Staircase. And so they sang a song, I Love You More Today Than Yesterday, but not as much as tomorrow. So that's our claim to fame.
That was Upton.
Pat Upton.
Yeah, Pat Upton.
So he's from here, right here in Geraldine. Most people know us from the Alabama Crimson Tide, the players that are from this area.
Yeah.
So as a matter of fact, we know people in California are listening to us. AP Sedum, our sports guy, was on the show with us 2 weeks ago, and someone did send me a text and said, tell Saban to stay out of California and quit getting our players.
Yeah.
And then a Texan sent a text and he said, yeah, and don't mess with Texas either.
Yeah. Well,
that sounds like Texas.
Too late.
Too late. We're in there. We're in it. But thank you again for watching. We definitely appreciate it.
And the highway that goes through here is named after Miss Vestal Goodman.
Yes.
So this is part of the world where she grew up at.
Well, you know, Bill Gaither was on the show with me one time, and it wasn't icy. It's just that we didn't know each other. So we were just trying to warm up to get to know each other a little bit, you know, and it was very cordial, very nice, and all that kind of stuff. I said, by the way, you're in Vestal Goodman country. Boy, he really lit up when I said that. He loved her.
Yeah.
I mean,
who wouldn't love her? She was precious.
Well, he started talking about her coconut cakes.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
He said she didn't tell anybody how she made them either, but he said she was known for those coconut cakes. And he said every event and every time I knew I was going to see Vestal, she would make me a coconut cake.
Yeah. My sister can make them. She learned it from my mother, and mother made those that are to die because she would drain the coconut out.
That's how I did it.
And save it, and then she'd grate all the coconut, fresh coconut, and make the cake. And then when she finished, she would pour the juice back on top of it. Ooh. You get called to preach eating that kind of stuff.
I think he's gonna I'm gonna make you a coconut cake. And what you do is I'll get like the bottom of a wooden spoon. Yeah. And then I'll just kind of make little holes all in it, you know, and then pour this. It's like a sauce. It's got all kinds of good stuff that's not good for you. It's got all this stuff on it. You pour that, and then you put the icing on top.
Yeah.
Of it. Yeah. And Phil, for his birthday, I'll say, what do you want, honey, for your birthday? And he'll go, one of those coconut cakes.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't blame you.
So anyway, this is Philip Gillen. He's with American Fellowship of Cowboy Churches, and one of my best friends. I have this guy. For everything we do, we always talk to you and also Don Hunt.
Yes,
as well, and his awesome wife as well. But you've been there for everything that we have. And I know you had to be rushed around like crazy on the day of the music.
It was always good. It was always fun. I mean, it's a blessing to get to be part of the things that we've been able to do and be where you're at, like the music in the park in Geraldine. That's a delight, and sometimes we have other things that overlap.
I think you had like 5 things.
I did. I had been to 2 rodeos that day and had a pastor and his wife in town from South Alabama, and I'd promised to have dinner with them. So we went to 2 rodeos, went back because I'd left Jacob at one of them, and I went back there, and then made the dinner meeting with my friends from South Alabama. So it's just what I do, and I don't have any complaints about it. I'm just thankful the Lord gives me strength to do it. Because
I don't know, if something you have a passion for, somehow you find the strength. It just comes from the
and that's the thing, you know. And people probably never think about this, but it's like yesterday. I had a funeral for a guy that I barely knew, but his family, I know a lot of his family, and I got to meet his daughter, and she had 3 young men. I mean, they're like 20-ish, and and they live in Texas, just down the road from where our Cowboy Church headquarters is. So, you know, they had been to the Cowboy Church of Ellis County, and but doing that funeral, I realized what an incredible group of young men they were there. They were all really precious, but we do some things that most people don't think about. And I surely always said, you know, this world gets smaller once you get to know people, but it was a blessing to get to do that. And he had passed away under hospice care, which is another group of our friends.
Shepherd's Cove.
That's right. And so anyway, there's a lot of things that go on that a lot of people may never know about what a pastor does, but
I lived inside that world.
Yes.
I really did growing up. And I mean, you don't know. I mean, you know, it's like you're almost it's almost like you're a doctor. You're on call 24/7.
Yes.
You know, you never know what's good. When I was a teenager, there was a guy that went to his church that Dad pastored, and he got into trouble. His girlfriend thought she was pregnant, and she actually wasn't. But anyway, it scared him to death. And this is back before anybody knew what pregnancy was and getting an abortion was. We thought it was just, just a mass, no big deal.
And at that day and age, it was a big deal.
Oh Lord, yes, yeah. People moved out of town. I mean, they would do that if that happened to their daughter. And some parents would disown their kids and stuff like that. I never thought I would do that, but if that ever happened in our family. But anyway, he actually robbed a store because he was trying to get money for an abortion. And one lucky thing about it is the gun had no ammunition in it. The gun had nothing in it just to scare the clerk. But long story short, of course, they called Dad. Dad had to go to the jail and all this kind of stuff. So you get called on for all kinds of stuff. I mean,
people would never, and I've been in court with people multiple times. And I mean, it's not, sometimes you just don't know what the day holds, but you know who holds the day.
Yeah. Because I mean, really, you can get calls from, and then also if you don't go to the hospital to see someone's Aunt Susie cousin that you've never met ever, I mean, you can get in trouble.
Oh yeah.
For that.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening though at the Cowboy Church.
We don't have, we're not a cliquish group.
That's another thing I like about it is that I don't see anybody, like you sit on my bench. I mean, I don't see anybody acting like that.
No, it's I was telling one of my friends at lunch a little bit ago who's been through a hard time, and I told him, I said, you come to Cowboy Church, what you need to do is come. And he goes to church, but he's pastored, he's been a preacher and a good one. But he's had a really struggle since he lost a child. So and he said, well, I'm going to come. I said, well, the one thing I can promise you is you'll feel the love of God's people stronger there than you will at any other time. And it doesn't matter if it's Trading Post or Lookout Mountain or Crossover or any one of the churches. I really believe that because people tell me that all the time. For the last 3 or 4 weeks, we've had a young couple with beautiful young kids, and they drive from the Tennessee line. If they live in Tennessee, drive all the way to the Trading Post and come to church.
That speaks volumes.
And people tell me, the thing about coming here is we sense God's love here. And I can tell you, people everywhere need to feel that. There's nobody that doesn't need to feel a sense of God's love. Everybody deserves to feel that way. And if we're not portraying that, and not like we should have to, it should be a natural response, then we're missing the boat. I mean, we're not where we should be if we
feel exactly the same way, because you never know, because somebody can put on a facade. I mean, they can act like they got it all together, and I got a perfect life and all this, and they're just breaking inside.
Yes, and those are the ones that just need somebody to show them a little love and some care and a few kind words. And I think that's what Cowboy Church does. It is a real good representation of God's love, and from that we share the gospel, yeah, we do some things a little differently, and we do arena stuff, but we never do anything that we don't share the gospel. I mean, when we get together for just to play in the arena, one of the lay pastors will stop, and we'll have about a 5 or 10 minute sermon that he's prepared for that night. So I like that. I like the fact that we're teaching kids and young people the value of having a relationship with Jesus Christ.
Well, there's a variety of different ages there as well. That's something else. And
Oh, yeah.
every single church I've been to, you've got your older folks like me, and then you've got your younger folks, and you got these little kids, and you
Yeah.
even have teenagers. I mean, and that's a feat right there, because
Oh yeah.
now back in my day, we'd be here with my grandparents. They'd say, "Now get up, now we're going to church." There was none of this, "I don't want to go."
Oh yeah.
And I mean, we had to go, but you know, a lot of folks let their kids make the decision about that.
And I've had, yeah, I have kids that may have divided custody between their parents, or time. It may not be this one's weekend, but they will tell their parents, "Look, I want to be home in time to go to church, whichever one it is. I want to be home in time to go to church."
And I appreciate parents who let the kid do that. I really do. And, you know, take yourself out of the equation. You know, it's not the kid's fault.
That's right. That's right. So I love it when I hear them say that. They'll tell me, so, "Well, I'm going to be at my mom's, but she told me I could come home in time to go to church." I love to hear that kid tell me that, and because at least that's showing some unselfishness on the parents' part, and it shows that the kid has some dedication to his church family. The Bible tells us, forsake not the assembling of yourselves together. So he's just being biblical, whether he's 14 or 18. He has accepted a biblical role of an adult when he says, "Oh, I'm going to be home in time to go to church." That's a good thing. I think it's awesome.
It might lead the parents.
That's right.
I mean,
That's
that
right.
can definitely.
Oh, and it's happened numerous times when we've done things for kids and we never saw their parents. One of our churches, this really neat kid who really had never been around horses or anything, and somebody gave him a little horse. Well, we do these kid rodeos and everything, and he started riding this little horse and feeding it and brushing. Well, he's got to be competitive, and I mean, he had really done every bit of this on his own. And but the cool part of it is, the first time his dad came to watch him, his dad I could tell he had never been as proud of his kid as he was that kid that day. And I'll tell you, that's been probably 3 months ago, and his dad, to my knowledge, hadn't missed a Sunday in church since then. Wow. And he had not been to church a Sunday before that, but he's been there every Sunday since then.
I'll tell you something I always look forward to at church too, and that's when the little kids at the very end. I love that. We were in a really big hurry on Mother's Day. Had to hurry up and get back. I always had a bunch of guests coming over to the house, and so, but Phil said, "Well, we need to go," and I said, "No, I want to hear these kids."
Yeah,
it's just like a highlight for me to get so. And they run down there. They'll say, "Okay, it's time for the kids." Yeah. And they want to, you don't see anybody restraining, nothing. They go running down there, and then they sing Happy Trails.
Oh, yeah.
Just as loud as they can.
Oh, I love it.
I do. Job. Absolutely, they do. Oh, and I've seen too, because you had talked about baptisms.
Yes.
And horse trough.
Yes.
And I'd never seen that before. I mean, now Coldwater Creek is on top of Cheaha Mountain. That's where I was baptized. It was cold even in the hot, sultry summertime. Yes. It was cold. But and then baptistries, but I'd never seen horse troughs. I've seen 2 of them.
Good.
It's pretty awesome.
It is. And in the new church, we now can have warm water in the horse trough.
That's nice.
But there's a few times when we did some baptisms and we had heaters in the water, but I thought, oh my goodness, this is brutal. I hated to do it, but we did. But now then, it's one of the things I asked. I said, let's get a hot water heater and put it under that pedestal and we've got it up where it makes it real easy. I haven't used it yet, but I've got a feeling I'm about to.
You're about
I've got to. When these kids come, I know these kids coming back from camp. I've got a couple, and I can't wait to get to baptize those. And I can't wait to get to use that new one at the trading post because we haven't used it yet. So it's time to break it in.
Yeah, it is. But you got to just go see that. Now, weddings are a little different too.
Yes, and sometimes they may be in the middle of nowhere. That I've done several in a barn. I've done them at the gym out at Pisgah, and I love those settings though, because it takes me back to my childhood almost. But I really enjoy some of the venues where we do weddings, and sometimes we just go out in the pasture. And when we've done that, we've done those just right out in the pasture, and the bride come riding up on a horse.
That's so awesome.
And those were fun. I enjoyed those, and she had on a wedding gown, but she got up and rode side saddle in a side saddle, the old fashioned way, and slid off.
That's hard to do.
Well, she was a lot younger than me for sure, but
so she'd be able to.
Oh, she did. But that was pretty neat. I enjoyed that, and but we get to do some fun things, and it's all a blessing. I love what the Lord lets me do, and seeing, and now we've got a whole group of young married people that's coming in.
I was
and
just about to mention that.
Yes,
that's awesome to see too. They just got married and they're going to Cowboy Church.
Yes, we've got a group of those that, and we've got I think 5 different groups of people that are in Bible study groups that they meet, on a weeknight, and boy, they get wrapped up in these things because they talk and they grow really, really close. These groups do. We call them small group Bible studies, and but it's just amazing how people get connected into that. And but the next thing you know, somebody's going to come out of that group and join one of the teams or become a lay pastor or something. I mean, it's probably the neatest thing. We don't do a Sunday school normally. We do small group Bible studies, and we do children's church in another building. We have a youth group that meets on Wednesday nights, but on Sunday mornings you have the option of sitting in church, or you can go out with the youth and go through a lesson, a Bible study lesson there. So there's a lot of things that goes on in the Cowboy Church model to keep it functioning. But I've never been part of one that just up and closed. I mean, I've never seen one just up and closed. All of ours have kind of either thrived or grown to a certain place, but there's umpteen churches represented down at that camp, and all those kids, man, that's what's good is when they come back and you can tell that, man, something that spiritually happened in their life.
Phil, can you bring me that holster you got for Father's Day? I wanted to mention this too. On occasions, and we weren't even expecting this, I got something really nice for Mother's Day, and look, the kids.
Oh yeah.
The kids made these.
Oh yeah.
And so they were handing them out to all the fathers.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Cute. Nice. Yeah, I meant to put this here. I knew you were going to be on the show today. It's just a really nice leather case. We only have about 3 or 4 minutes left in this segment. What are your thoughts about Roe versus Wade?
Oh, I think it was awesome.
I didn't expect that to happen.
I didn't expect to ever see that happen in my lifetime. But it tells me this: our country has a hope. Our country has a hope of turning back to God, which it needs to do more than anything else. So I was glad to see it, and there may be some people take offense to that. It's not because I'm not going to be out marching in the street and carrying a sign about it, but I can tell you, I believe the angels rejoiced in heaven over that. And there were some judges that heard from heaven to make that decision and make it happen.
I think so too, because several of them had threats on their lives
Yes.
about it. First of all, somebody's going to threaten your life about, I mean, I would go the other way of whatever they want, because that's just not right. But think about all the babies. I mean, they keep saying it's a woman's body and all this kind of stuff. Well, there's probably a woman in that body. It could be a future woman in that.
Well, I've said over and over, we probably have had we probably aborted a fetus that was going to be a doctor that found a cure from cancer or something else. And somebody let that child be aborted. And that's why we're in the shape we're in. Somebody that might have been the great leader that brought this country back together. And they were destroyed or murdered. I don't care how you say it. It's bad. And I am thankful. I have a regenerated hope in my country.
I do too, from that point on, because I've been little, I don't know, we may be too far.
Oh, I know. I thought the same thing. I'd look back and seen what God did to Israel in some of their struggles in the Old Testament, the things that they had done. And I kept thinking, boy, we are headed for that same thing. Every time I'd see an earthquake, a fire, or a flood, or a tornado, or a hurricane, I think, well, the Lord is trying to get our attention and we're just not getting it. I did have that. And I don't think that's any kind of great theological insight. I think that's just common sense. It is.
Because we were not going in the right direction. And we still got some improvements we've got to do. But I've got two heroes I'm going to tell you about.
Okay.
I have there's a woman that's probably pregnant right now, and for some reason we don't know anybody's life. We don't know what they're having to go through. There's a million things that have been going on in this woman's life, and she's just found out she's pregnant. She may not be married, but you know what? She's still my hero, and let me tell you why. Because she thinks enough of that child to give somebody else a chance for adoption. And there are some awesome people out there who want to have kids. And they just can't.
Yeah.
So that's number one, is that woman who's decided, you know what? I can't afford it. I can't. It's wrong timing for me, but I'm going to go ahead and have it anyway. You're a hero. And then another hero is the person who adopts that
Amen.
baby.
Amen.
Because my daughter-in-law's adopted, you know.
Yeah. I love it. We've got
so proud.
I've been around a bunch of, we have a lot of people in Cowboy Church that are either foster parents or have adopted. Yes. And they've adopted kids and everything else. And it makes me so proud to have people like that in the congregation.
They're the super people.
They see the value in human life.
Absolutely, they do. There was a couple who lived, when I was a kid, I grew up at Cheahaw Acres number 2 in Oxford. It's a subdivision. And so just down 2 houses from us was a man and woman, and their name was Mr. and Mrs. Parnell. We couldn't call them by the first name. It had to be Mr. and Miss Parnell. And they were a little older, had never had kids, and wanted to have kids, you know, and they just took us in, you know, and they had a dog and a cat. And they treated that dog and cat like kids. Yeah. So they would come over, they'd call my parents and say, can we take Donna and Chuck to the dairy dip? They're going to take their dog and cat to get ice cream. And they take us.
The dairy dip. I remember those.
That was so awesome. But I I just turned 63. I'm proud. I shouldn't be here, really. But Donna's going to live to be 63. I'd have taken much better care of myself. So I didn't think I'd make it this long. But Philip, thank you for being on the show today. It's always such a pleasure to be with you. And I know sometimes you've been so busy here lately, and I'm glad we worked this time out.
Yes, it's perfect.
And speaking of some more awesome folks, Diamond and Silk will be with us next Friday. Good. So, and they have been swamp busy. I'm gonna tell you what. So they sent a message, and their person who set something appointments and said, we want to be on your show. However, you're gonna have to do it at night.
Oh,
and
that's
I
awesome.
said, that's fine. I'll do it at night. And then we'll just have it ready for the next day.
Well, that's Friday. Good. That's good.
Absolutely. But this is number 1 dude right here. And so thank you again so much for watching. It's going to be another awesome day tomorrow. Chuck and Mary Lynn Bailey from Alabama Fair Tax are going to be with us. And I'm looking forward to that. Oh, yeah. And here's a guy. This will be the first time he has ever been on my show. His name is Jail Music Man. I don't know if that's really his name.
I don't know either.
He and I have been friends for a long time. I know him through some folks that I knew in the music world. And he used to be a liberal. And so he's written a song for today's time.
Oh, yeah.
And so
I'd like to
he's
hear
going
that.
he's going to be on the show tomorrow. So I can't wait to see you. It's going to be an awesome, awesome time. So anyway, tomorrow is going to be another great, great day. And also Rob Patz, who is the owner of Abundant TV, will be with me on. A lot of folks like us on the show together because it's like me and you. I mean, you never know what it's going to be about.
We don't have a script.
Well, I don't ever have a script with anybody.
Yeah.
So anyway, he's going to be on the show with us at 1:00. And then at 2:00, Don Hunt is going to be with us. And he's with Lookout Mountain Cowboy Churches, which is where we're going to church at. It's the closest one to us. I'm going to tell you, it's hard to decide which one you want to go to because they're all good.
They are.
They really are. But thank you, Philip, for being on the show.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure.
All right, folks, let's go ahead and call it a day. Let's go ahead and put some commercials in there. And don't forget to check out the Cattle Stampede Steakhouse. He's got those lunch specials. Begin at 11 o'clock now, and it ends at 2. 5 entrees, less than $5. And also make sure you do check out my friend Bobby Ledbetter at Twin City Used Car Sales. He's one of a kind guy.
He's my kind of guy.
Oh, absolutely. Selling cars nobody else is.
That's right.
And that tells you about his character. Okay.
Yes.
He's there to help the communities. We'll see you guys a little bit later. So y'all take care.